Hello everyone, Mondavu here, and this is a bit of an unusual one. One of my cousins recently obtained the game, and while there are indeed tons of tutorials out there for how to play Path of Titans, she has requested some very specific information. So I'm going to kind of make a little mini tutorial series for her. This is kind of akin to the Long Dark for K-Bird or Beast of Bermuda for Eric, but with very, very specific tutorial type stuff. So I believe the dino she started with was the Deinonychus. So I'm going to call it K, because why not? And I've done my best to set my single player settings to official settings, so that it kind of mimics what she's going to experience. Now, she's playing on an iPhone, and I play this on the computer, so there are definitely going to be some differences. I'm not going to be able to discuss the controls and whatnot, because I don't know how different they are. So that one she's going to kind of have to... Yeah, I'm sorry, you're going to have to kind of look up some other tutorials for that one. But I can at least help out with what she requested. So first, some very basic information. When you are growing, you know, your abilities will unlock as you age. And they all cost marks. And you get marks by questing. Which leads us to where her issue is. She wants to know how to find things and where to find things. So first, a quick overview. This is just for her benefit. These little blue triangles here are home caves. Whenever you get that first quest coming out of the tutorial cave that tells you to go to the home cave, that's what you're looking for. And usually, like you can see that kind of blue star on my screen, usually you'll get a green home cave shape helping to guide you to the nearest home cave for that quest specifically. And if you move out of its range, it'll automatically pop over to the next one. This one here, this specific like star, is a go to this location quest. And if you're ever concerned about what quest you've got, you just click on the quest tab down here, and you can get just a little bit more information on it, like how much time, how many remarks you're going to get, etc. Now, the best way to learn how to play the game, as far as like understanding the dinos and understanding marks better, is to join a community server and check out whatever their rules are, because it kind of offers an environment where there's a lot less chaos as opposed to the official servers. The best place to learn how to fight is always going to be the official servers, because everything is going to come at you. And there's no rules there, so it's very much a case of trial by fire, but it is an excellent place to learn combat. So, we're going to start with my red quest here. Your red quests are always like your local quest. And local means it's local to the area you're in. For example, at the top right of my screen there, I'm panning my camera down so it's a little easier to see on phones. Top right of my screen says I'm in Hunter's Thicket. So the red quest here, which is to gather Amanita mushrooms specifically, is only going to be in Hunter's Thicket. Now, sometimes when you travel to a new area, your quest will transfer over, but it will restart. So, for example, if I had gathered 19 out of these 20 mushrooms I need, I run to the next area, and my next quest is gather those same types of mushrooms, I don't get to keep that quest. It starts over. It starts me over at 0. But that only happens if two different areas have the same quest. So for now, since we're in Hunter's Thicket, and for perspective on the map, you can see where I am. Hunter's Thicket is actually all of this. Hunter's Thicket is one of those really weird big places. And, you know, they're not clear. Obviously, they're not clearly marked on the map. Like, you kind of have to wander around and explore and learn the map to understand, like, what you're looking at on the map as far as the names of places go. That being said, following these quests that say, hey, go to Burnt Forest, and you've got this compass right there, when you run that direction, you might occasionally, you know, look around and be like, well, how do I get around this place? Oh, hey, look, Burnt Forest is right down here. And so you know that this area here is Burnt Forest. And Burnt Forest is one of those areas that's very easy to see where it is, because it's one of those places on the map that is just very obvious. That one, there's also, I wonder where Rainbow Hills is. It couldn't possibly be all of this. So, but then like others are more subtle. Let's see, for example, this area here is known as Titan's Pass, and that can extend partially into here. But this area along here is Birchwoods, and you can see on the map it looks kind of similar. There's not a whole lot of difference. So learning a lot of the areas really does require exploration. So those quests where it says like go to this blue thing, it's got that specific icon right there. That will help you a lot in learning where places are. Now, as far as how to find things, unfortunately, amanita mushrooms are one of those things that's just annoying. It's just annoying because there's never really any consistency with it. One of my friends pointed out, oh, they kind of like shady places, but that can be subjective when the sun moves. So in Hunter's Thicket specifically, you can find them often underneath a lot of these outcrops. So like this particular one, see, here we go, see? And they don't always have it. Like you might find an area that looks like this, but this one has it. The red ones here, these are your amanita mushrooms. So I'm going to collect these, and this will give me a set amount of marks and a set amount of growth. On official servers, your growth is usually about 30 seconds for the vast majority of quests. Some quests will give you a little bit more. For example, going to the home cave, after you leave the tutorial cave, that quest gives you, I think, about 1.5 minutes of growth, which is really good, because the official servers will not have passive growth. And you can kind of see on the bottom of my screen, above my health bar, there's these 5 kind of like vague black areas. Those will fill up as I do quests. And on community servers, where a lot of the times they will allow passive growth, you'll see that those parts slowly start to get yellow more and more as your dino grows. But for right now, I'm playing with official settings to help my cousin get used to this. So I've got those, and I need to find just 2 more of these little things, and they can be a pain. But knowing where to look helps you find these things. And here we go. I knew to look under the rock, so here we go. There we go, 75 marks, and I've got more than 30 seconds of growth because I couldn't quite get the exact slider settings specific for single player, but that's approximately how much growth you'll get. And you can see now, let me get the bottom portion of my screen towards the dark area, you can see some of that yellow slowly starting to come in. And you'll have like a kind of faded yellow, that's how much growth boost you get. And as it becomes a brighter yellow, that is how much growth you have. So next is milk cap mushrooms, and this quest, I'm not going to lie, I kind of hate it because I've never found any consistency with milk cap mushrooms. So there's very few places on the map that I know of where these things are. So I'm going to be scurrying a bit, kind of trying to figure stuff out. Most quest items will have a set thing or place or other kind of marker that if you learn that, you can find anything pretty much in any area. But sometimes, like the milk cap mushrooms, there's just not much of an account for being able to easily find it. So I'm not particularly a fan of the milk cap mushroom quest, but oh hey, here we go. But like sometimes they might spawn near dead trees, and I'm like, okay, cool, let me go look for this dead tree, and you find more of these dead trees, and there are no milk caps. And they won't spawn at every item at every like landmark that looks like this, but like I might find that my next patch of milk cap mushrooms next to a sideways log, or next to a stump that's vertical, or next to a bunch of branches. Like the milk caps are just irritating. So these are the milk caps. They look really big because I'm really small. I've actually found that a lot of quest items are easier when you are not the Deinonychus because you're not tiny and having to fight seeing through the world as well as finding the items you need. But this will give you the idea. If I can get... And you can just hold down your collect button and it will automatically grab the quest items for you. Let's see, I need 2 more. You'll find that happening a lot. Most quests, the quest items you'll get, like most items come in bunches of either 9 or 7. Some come in bunches of 6, but like you'll always have like 1 or 2 quest items that are just like that you can't always find. At least not with any kind of convenience. So I'm going to run around a bit here trying to find a milk cap mushroom because I need 2 more. I hate milk caps. I really do hate milk caps. It's just that one item that is a pain in the neck to find things for. Let's see. Alright, so for example, fallen log, but I'm seeing pine cones instead of what I'm looking for. And this is along the entirety of the log, so clearly the milk caps are not here. And normally when it comes to milk caps, I have other people helping me find those, so it's just kind of like... Yeah, I don't like the milk cap quest for a reason. There's not a whole lot of quests that do that though. Typically, every quest item will have a giveaway of some sort. Let's see if I can even find any of these. And there are some online resources that can also help you find quest items, but it's not a guarantee. It can be wrong as often as it is right. For example, this one, near a branch and bones, and it's just like, why? Why you do this? Why can't you be consistent? Okay, so now we have pine cones. This gives me a good opportunity. So you see my quest is completed. I've got the 75 marks, but I'm not getting any growth. Well, at that point, I go here, and now my quest icon has lit up, and it's because I do have this reward. I just have to collect it. And the reason it does this is because for the home caves, you can unlock items to help decorate them. And that's a completely optional thing. I don't know very many people that do it, but it is there. I think it's a cool idea. It's just not often utilized, at least not in my experience. So I can either collect this individually, or if I've collected a whole bunch of these quests that don't automatically collect for me, I come down to claim rewards and it will collect them all for me, and then I will get my growth boost based on however many quests have piled up there. Now, pine cones is easier. Pine cones is easier. And the reason being, they're bright freaking green. I can't necessarily say they always fall below pine trees, because, like, that's a pine tree, that's a pine tree. All of those are pine trees, and as you can see, even from here, there's not just tons of pine cones below all of them, but they are bright green, and that does make it easier to find them. You can see at the top right above my mini-map, there's like a completion level. Most areas will see you, quote-unquote, complete at 60% or 80%. Sometimes 100%. But after a while, every area will stop giving you quests, and you'll be forced to move on. Or if you stick around long enough, the quests will refresh. But I don't know how long that is. I just know that you wind up sticking around for longer than you probably should. I think maybe 30 minutes or something? Something like that. And in most places, quest items will replenish relatively quickly, with a few exceptions. For example, there's a quest item called Bloodstones, which I'll get into in a specific episode. And the Bloodstone crystals don't come back as quickly as most of the other quest items do. And I don't know why that is. I just know it's one of those items that just doesn't come back quickly. But like the pine cones will come back pretty quick, flowers will, mushrooms will. Almost anything of that nature will come back pretty quickly. There we go. And you see, it says I have a new ability to purchase. It's because that particular quest was worth more. So now, I'm going to go ahead and buy that ability for myself. Because I have the marks. Your marks will be over here, above your skin, and your skins also cost marks. Now, a quick note about your skins. The unlock price is always going to be kind of up there. It's always going to be at least in the thousands. But like once you unlock one of these, you also have to unlock all of its other colors as well. And all the colors each cost 150 marks. So when you first unlock the skin, you're only unlocking this first color. And then you have to spend 150 marks each on each of these others. Now, it does unlock these colors for each of your 6 here while going through this palette. So like unlocking the skin, I'll have access to this color regardless of whether or not it is colors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And that's true for the pattern as well. But in order to unlock the rest of the colors, I got to spend that 150 a pop. So usually, I tend to look at my skins as a matter of, oh, this one is 1,500 marks. Well, 150 times 4 is about 600, so really this would be 2,100 marks if I want to just unlock the skin completely. So next we're going to move on to flowers, and for Hunter's Thicket, the flowers are usually red, and they come in clumps of 5, which is very nice and satisfying, because it means that it means you're not going to be running around looking for that one last quest item if you can find all of the flower clumps. And the nice thing about any quest that involves flowers is they're not specific. If it's a flower and it has that yellow outline, you can collect it for your flower quest. It's just that most of the flowers in Hunter's Thicket specifically are red. Now what I am going to do is, if you look at the top right of my minimap, I'm running towards an area that has like a patch of green. Usually in areas like this, you'll find the most common flower, which is yarrow. And that is right over here. These guys usually come in big clusters of 6. And I said big clusters because it looks big, but it's really only 6. But as you can see, a whole different type of flower still counts towards my quest. So when it comes to things like flowers and button mushrooms, which I'll get into when I get that quest, you're going to want to look for these kind of green open areas. That's where you're going to find most of your yarrow and most of your button mushrooms. And when you learn little tricks like that, it really does make finding items a whole lot easier. Now, not every field is going to have both, but because, for example, let me go down to the map. This big brown area here is called Dark Forest. I'm going to zoom in here. These green patches, some of these only have button mushrooms, and some of them only have the flowers. But it's still the green patches, which is your indicator as to, hey, the item I'm looking for is most likely over here. So I'm going to see if I can find more flowers. And based on that knowledge, I know I can go check this green patch up here and probably find some more. And if I can't, I know to look for bright red flowers, because that's what's in the area of Hunter's Thicket specifically. As you can see, this place doesn't seem to have any flowers. So it's not going to be every little area that you go to, but it will be most of them. It will be several of them. So with that in mind, I'm not going to go back and look for red flowers. I see, here's some milk caps next to a fallen log that looks nothing like any of the other fallen logs. This is why I hate the milk cap quest. So, I'm sorry, Katie, but I can't quite tell you where to find those. It's just, that one is very much a case of good luck. Alright, I see bright red flowers, so this is clearly for my quest. There we go. And I've only got 4 more since I hit a cluster of 6, but typically if I'd only gone for the red flowers, I would have 5 more, which would just be 1 more clump. So I'm going to wind up leaving 1 behind. Ta-da! And I've got another new ability. Now, this doesn't mean I have both abilities. Now, on a lot of community servers, the way that you edit your abilities is your dinosaur will be forced to lay down. You see at the top right, it now says Ability Editing Enabled. On the official servers, you are required to enter your home cave in order to edit your ability. So keep that in mind when you play. So I'm going to go to Character, click on Abilities, and I really want the tail fan. That's 250 marks. I'm going to unlock that. Yes, I want to spend those marks. I'm going to click Confirm, and now that's in my tail slot. Now, I click on the area that I want to use, because this down here is your controls. This is your hotbar, right? So I want this particular ability to be my secondary, so that's where it's going to go. And now if I check my character, I've got 111 marks left. Well, let's see. That is actually enough. That is actually not enough to unlock the rudder, which is a different tail ability. As you can see, that one costs 300 marks. So everything is going to cost its own different thing. But for the Deinonychus specifically, that's the primary ability that you want. And that's because it's a quick little boost of speed, and it's only got about a 6 to 7 second cooldown so before you can use it again. And this is an ability that you can use after you jump, or rather, before you jump. So, for example, and it just helps you give you a quick burst of speed to help you get away from things. Now some quick survival basics. Obviously, your dinosaur gets hungry and thirsty. Water you have to be careful about because some water is fresh water and some water is salt water. So first you're going to approach the water and it will tell you what kind of water it is. So don't just run up to anything and hit drink because you might drink salt water. We all did that the first time they introduced salt water. So make sure it just says water and then that means you can drink from it. Now additionally, that lens flare is really annoying. Additionally, when you're looking at the water, you'll see a little... Here, I'll stop for a sec. You'll see here where it says 99%. That is how much of the water that I have quote-unquote dirtied. Rain will usually refill that. There are also places that have quests that help you refill that. So water is both infinite and not. Like drinkable water is not infinite, but the water itself is. So here in Hunter's Thicket, you have lakeweed. That's my next quest. That can be hard for our Deinonychus to get because we're not very good swimmers. And if you lose stamina while swimming, you will fall under the water surface, and that will lead to drowning. So, you remember that I said Hunter's Thicket was this big area here, yeah? A lot of the times you might be over here or over here in Hunter's Thicket, and it's saying collect lakeweed, and there's no lakeweed at this water right here, and you're running along the river going, where the heck is all the lakeweed? It's because it's down here. This section is also part of Hunter's Thicket. The regions in Path of Titans are kind of weird like that. But this is lakeweed. It's what it looks like. You can almost always find it along water edges, just not along every water edge, so you kind of have to go looking for it. This one is very much a case of learning where it spawns, but knowing what to look for helps a lot too. And you can swim and hold down your collect button just fine, so that this works. Now, on a multiplayer server, there might be someone in the water looking for you because there's a few semi-aquatic dinosaurs. Most common one is going to be something called a sarco, which is basically a giant croc. And they can grab you and take you under and drown you, or they can just flat out chomp you. So you do have to be careful whenever you are dealing with water. I'm going to sit to regain my stam. And you can see it goes up pretty quick on the Deinonychus. If you want it to go up even faster, you lay down. And once it's fully down, boom, there it goes, zipping right up. Now, something to note, whenever you're in a combat situation, if you are lying down and something begins to attack you, you will take 4 times your normal amount of damage. So, and conversely, whenever you're hunting something, if you attack it while it's sleeping, you'll do 4 times the amount of damage you normally would. So always be alert whenever you're sitting down or anything. Let's see if I can find more lakeweed that's actually like close by. For Hunter's Thicket, I believe. Let's see. So for Hunter's Thicket, some of it's going to be up here. There's going to be some of it in here, and I think there's some here and here as well. These are. It's kind of hard to see on the map, but these are like higher cliffs. I think those might have some lakeweed, but that'll largely be for the semi-aquatics to collect. So as a terrestrial creature, I'm going to head to the areas that I know that the lakeweed is most likely going to be. And that right there is kind of what the series is going to be about. It's mostly going to be, hey, this is how you find things in certain areas, and here's the clues to find them in any area, and that's largely what this is going to be. Just kind of help my cousin learn, because she was excited to play. Let's see. Oh, there's some lakeweed. I could barely see it, but I did see it. Sometimes if you're not sure, just kind of walk near the water's edge and wait for something to highlight. I found a lot. There's 2 maps for the game. And on the Pandura map, I found a lot of lakeweed by walking through areas and just looking down for it to highlight. Okay. Now you can see this area is complete, which means I will get no more quests for it. So if I want more quests, I have to go to any other area. Now, you might think this means I have to head to the Burnt Forest. I don't, but if I go there, I get free marks, so we're going to do that. I've still got about 8 minutes before this quest runs out. But that's okay, because we've got our tail fan ability, which helps us go faster. Even if it's just in short bursts. Sometimes just getting around the water can be a pain in the neck when you're a creature like this, because I can't just jump over and cross. I'm not going to make that swim. Now, thankfully, Burnt Forest is an area that's right next to Hunter's Thicket. Well, kind of right next to it, because, you know, this little chunk is Hunter's Thicket here, and that's Burnt Forest right there, so I'm kind of going this way to get around. But any new area that I enter will offer me quests. And whenever your go to a set location quest ends, it will give you a new location to go to. So it really does kind of help encourage you to explore the map. Oh, another thing, you can see that icon right there with the claws. That is for my hunt critter quest. There's little AI burrow critters that you can hunt, and each one has a specific burrow type. You kind of start learning where the burrows are with that quest, just like you start learning the map with the location quests. Oh, I didn't quite jump on that. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, one of the things you're going to want to learn how to do in case you ever get stuck is utilize an ability called Precise Movement. Every creature can do this. It allows you to turn like this and to back up. And backing up in this game is very powerful. Maybe not necessarily as a fighting ability, but like, say I want to walk up this rock and I can't just do this, right? Well, if I back up, I might be able to do it. So that's a good trick to know in case you ever get stuck like I almost did. And sometimes things will just stop you and be annoying, like that log back there, which is probably just a little twig to most of the other dinos. you don't quite want to go down there because that's still water. And this should be fine because I'm right near the shore. And you see what I mean? This was an area on the map that I pointed out. Here's the lakeweed. See, now I have left Hunter's Thicket. So I am open to as soon as I enter a new area, I will be open to receiving new local quests, which are always the red ones. Now when you group up with someone, you will get green quests. And the green quests are group quests that you can both do. Now a common thing to do when you have a questing partner is you share the group quests. So for example, you've seen gather 25 flowers. A group quest might say gather 50 flowers. That gives you both an opportunity to get 25 flowers. And if you if you split that quest evenly, you'll both get an even amount of marks and growth. But like if one person takes most of it and you only get a little, you're only going to get a few marks and a little bit of growth, and they'll get the bulk of it. So it's beneficial to share quests. Now that being said, when your group is huge, you might as well just focus on your local quests because nobody can take your local quests from you. Alright, this is Burnt Forest. I'm not quite officially in it yet, but you can see what I mean. There we go, see? I got 98 marks and some growth just for coming to this location, and now I have a new quest. And just like with the previous location, I've got a quest that is the same as that can be the same as the previous area, which is gather Amanita mushrooms. And here they're located a little differently. I kind of have to run around to find these somewhat, but they are located a little differently. So that's essentially the gist of it. So what I'll be doing in with the rest of this series is covering each area and what I understand of it and how to look for and find specific quest items. So, and that's again, the best way to learn the map is to follow your location quests, and and follow your burrow quest too, because your burrows aren't always located in the same area you're in. For example, this particular burrow was located in Burnt Forest, but we were over here and it was highlighting a burrow down here. We were over here and it was highlighting this burrow as well. So finding your critter burrows can also help you learn the map. So with this in mind, like I said, future videos will focus on each location and how to find the quest items that are present. And I'll see you guys in the next video.